Hello and welcome to another episode of the Franchise Tag Over. I'm Smith, and today I'm joined by DC Defenders defensive back KJ Sales. How are you doing, KJ?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for coming on. I do appreciate your time this week, as we are getting ever closer to the XFL 3.0 is the best way of calling it. First games. How excited are you for this weekend?
Man, I'm extremely excited, extremely grateful for this opportunity. It's finally here. I couldn't have got here any faster. It's gonna be a great year, a great season. So I'm excited, man.
And you are starting off at home, which is always where you want to be.
Most definitely.
And it's against a division rival
Yes,
as
sir.
well. So, how much are you looking forward to playing in Aldi Field in front of the DC Defenders fans and hearing that noise?
I'm excited. I heard the fans are nuts, man. I heard they get loud and they get crazy. So I'm excited, man, to actually, be on defense and to play a part in that crowd getting pretty loud. I'm excited, man, just making plays and doing what we do. Seattle's a good team, so we're all excited
Yeah.
to match up against those guys and get to work.
And bear in mind, you mentioned the matchup there. You're up against probably one of the most famous names in the wide receiver core in the XFL Week One in Josh Gordon.
Mhm.
How excited are you to match yourself against someone who has that NFL caliber behind him?
I'm really excited, man, just to be on the same field with him and show what I can do. And the rest of the guys show what we can do. We've seen him in the NFL, know what he can do. He's a
Yeah.
great player. And I'm actually glad that we get to share the same field as him and do what we do. We know he's a great player, and he's going to get his, and we're going to get ours as well.
And to be fair, if you do lock him down that Week One, it doesn't half set a statement to the rest of the league that you're
Right.
here and DC are here to mean business this season. So it looking like as well that the attendances are going to be really good for DC. Looking at the opening game, ticket
Mhm.
numbers, I'm noticing because you do. Even though I'm not able to get to a game this weekend, sadly, being in the UK, but you do look at what the attendance is going to look like, and DC look like they've got one of the better opening attendances. How
Right.
important do you think it is to fill Aldi Field for this weekend?
I think it's really important. I think it's important for the brand. I think it's important for, the XFL. I think it's important for the team, just to get to Audi Field to be there live in full effect. Man, I
Yeah,
think it's really, really important. Because, like I said, like everything messed everything up. COVID messed
mm.
everything up. So I think that us getting there and them being there, they can feed off us. We can feed off of them. It's gonna be electric. So we're all excited, man. I can't wait to go out there and everybody put our product on display for sure.
And as you mentioned, they were one of the more rowdier fans in the 2.0 version of the XFL. I think they became famous for quite extensive beer snakes, is the best way of
Yeah,
describing what they became famous for.
right.
And you've also got in that same North Division, you've got Seattle and you've got St. Louis both coming
Hmm.
back as well. You've got, in effect, three legacy XFL franchises in it. So there's almost like a bit of inbuilt rivalry right from the get go. And you start your season playing all of your divisional rivals, one after another. How important is it to get off to a fast start in your conference this year?
I think it's always important to get off to a fast start. I think it's like I said, it's important to get off to a fast start, but it's about how you finish as well. So as we
Yeah,
go through this season, there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be things that happen, but it's about how you bounce back. And I truly feel that the team that we have a good team, and I'm looking forward to seeing us go out there and, like I said, do what we do because we can only control us. So I'm excited.
so obviously it's the first time you've been out and playing on the field, but also wearing the jerseys for the Power Time in front of the fans. One thing I think Under Armour did really well
Right.
with, and the XFL did, was the designs of the uniforms that they've
Mhm.
done. How impressed were you when you saw what you'd be wearing this season?
I'm really impressed. Like I said, just everything was well thought out. It was well planned. I think that Miss Danny Garcia and Dwayne did a great job of thinking everything out and getting the best, um, grabbing everyone's attention first off with uniforms, because that's what people look at. They
Yeah,
look at color and they look at flash, and I think our uniforms, us being red. Um, I think red is a great color, just the flash, and so I'm excited for everyone to see what our uniforms look like live. So it's gonna be great.
and they've also recently obviously announced the secondary logos for each of the teams,
Hmm.
and again they did what I thought was the right thing and do the nod towards the 2.0 version of
Right,
the, the DC Defenders. How important do you
right.
think it was bringing back the Shield, as it's affectionately known?
I think it's really important them bringing back the shield. It's original. That's what DC is known for, defending the capital. That's what it is, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Me self-proclaiming myself the mayor of Tampa. I get to go out there to DC and hopefully meet the president, man, and it's going to be great. So we defending DC, we're defending the capital, our nation's capital. That's going to be great. So
Yeah. And as you mentioned there, how did you feel when you found out it was DC you were going to?
I, uh, man, I was ecstatic about it, man. I've never been, so I've always, dreamed of being there and just being so close to the White House.
Yeah.
It's like I can really go touch it and become a part of it. So it's really special. As I said before, man, I'm excited, and hopefully, I get to, meet a couple people there. I've already been in contact with some people at home, so we're doing all we can to make that happen for sure.
Now that'll be quality. And obviously, a lot of us fans in the UK, we will know you from your time in University of South Florida.
Yes, sir.
How has your game improved since your time down there in South Florida?
My knowledge of the game, my game has improved tremendously. My time at South Florida, I think that I was, fairly young, just based off of raw talent. I think that me learning the game, and definitely now, being with Greg Williams, our D coordinator, I've learned so much in a small matter of time just with him alone, and spending time with different D coordinators and spending time with different DB coaches, um, you know, grasping what they teach us and taking every little thing out of what they're teaching me and adding it into my game. So I think that's the
Yeah,
biggest thing for me. And so it's just the knowledge of the game, experience, and just doing it repetitively. That's the biggest thing.
yeah.
So I'm excited to go out there, man. I'm doing a lot more now, as I was in South Florida. I was always a versatile guy, and I think that's what's really taking my game to the next level, is putting that on display.
No, it's going to be exciting to see how your game has progressed. I have seen, as I say, your name mentioned as a few potential stars of this season in the defensive position. Does hearing that kind of thing add any pressure, or is it just time to shine?
Man, I don't pay attention to that type of stuff. I go out there and I do what I do to the best of my abilities. I honestly don't pay attention to that because it means absolutely nothing. I don't think it's pressure at all because I know what real pressure feels like. Real pressure is not knowing where your next meal is going to come or how you're going to feed
Yeah,
your kids or where you're going to live. That's real pressure. That's real life pressure.
yeah,
This is something that I've been waiting for, opportunity that I've been waiting for, and it's football. It's no pressure. It's just something that I love to
yeah,
do. What's pressure about something that you love to do? And I think that a lot of people put that on themselves, and that causes them to not seize the moment and be where their feet are. I'm being where my feet are, man. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, but I'm gonna do it to the best of my abilities and make sure I'm prepared for whatever happens, so that I'm ready. So there's no pressure at all.
No, that's good to hear. And one thing I'm interested about hear about is how did the XFL opportunity come about for yourself? Because I remember when it was announced, there was loads of players your team were declaring themselves as
Right,
interested in from the draft pool.
right.
So how did you find out about it, and how did you end up getting into the draft pool
Our
initially?
our GM, Vaughn Hutchins, man, he does his homework. He was actually recruiting me at the NFLPA Bowl when COVID hit, and we were unable
Oh
to
yeah,
have um, those bowls and stuff like that. So, after I went to the Chargers, he was still trying to help me, find a home. And I know I got a call from him saying that he was going to be the GM of a team, and he was like, "Man, look, man, I definitely want to get you if you're available." And I was around that time. I was just like, man, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I had been in the CFL. I had been to a lot of places, and my mind at that time, it was racing. So it was time to, figure some things out. And Coach Vernon Dean called me the day of the draft, and he said he loved the way I played, loved my tenacity, loved my competitiveness, and that's what he's used to seeing, and that's what he's used to playing in those matches. And I matched Coach Greg's, scheme wise. I matched his intensity, and Coach Barlow loved how versatile I was, just as far as the special teams aspect and being able to play corner and nickel. That was a big thing. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm thankful that they chose me to make the 51. And I'm gonna go out there and give it all I got.
and that's what. To be fair, you just mentioned there making the 51 because obviously last week was quite a hard time for
Yeah,
a lot of players who didn't make the cut in the last
right.
week or so. How did you feel when you found out that it was you were definitely on the 51 roster and that was it? You were being a DC defender this season.
Man, I came up here with a mission, and I came up here with a plan. I came up here on a mission, and I came up here with a plan. And my plan was, I'm not going back home. I'm going to
Yeah,
leave football when I want to leave football. When I'm done with football, that's when I'm going to be done with it. And I've been told, I was told that maybe I should hang it up. I was told that, you know, I was called crazy. I was called, different things for still chasing this dream. And that's the things people don't see before you get to where you get to. They just see where you are and where your feet are at that time. And I didn't come up here worrying about whether I was going to make the team or not. I came up here and saying, I'm going to make it hard for me, not, I'm going to make it hard for them to cut me. And I know it's a
yeah.
lot of good players out here. And I've been where they've been. It's really tough. It's a tough business. And this is what we signed up for. And injuries happen, things happen. But I'm thankful, man. I'm grateful that I have God on my side. He's shown tremendous favor over my life, over the past year or so. And I'm gonna go out there and give it all I got. I give all honor to God, man, because without Him, I wouldn't be able to affect lives. I wouldn't be able to affect people that's back home, affect people that's in the DC community, to show them if you don't give up on yourself and if you trust in God and have faith, anything is possible. So when people see me, I want them to see God through me. And so that's what I pride myself off of, and that's what I'm continue to do. So I'm thankful, man, and blessed.
And that's what I think is quite interesting about the XFL. It's when you listen to speak to some of the players like yourself, where they've had been to training camps in the NFL, and they've just not had that chance to shine. And
Right,
as Dwayne Johnson has mentioned a lot about the 54th player, those players that could make an NFL roster and
right,
do some serious plays, but they just don't either have the game
right,
film or the experience for those teams to pick them up.
right.
So, how important do you think the XFL is for the development of the NFL?
I think it's extremely important. I think that this is another way to get guys, give guys a step up. I think this is another way to help guys feed their families as well. Not
Yeah,
just a stepping stone for the NFL. Although the NFL is the ultimate goal, I think this is a good way for guys to make money while doing what they love in a short period
yeah,
of time. Because if we're being real, the way that Dwayne and Danny set it up, it's great money for a short period of
mhm,
time that, normal people, people in the workforce, regular world, don't make in that short period
No.
of time. So I think this is great, man. I think this is great for the world. I think this is great for football. I think this game is here to stay. And the XFL is here to stay. So I'm excited for it, man, and I can't wait to be a part of it. I'm glad to be a part of it, but I can't wait to be a part of it moving forward for sure.
And to be fair, I think it's an exciting time across the board within, say, football in the States right now, because the problem the NFL always had was there was never a real development leagues out there. Every other sport out there
Right,
has a development leagues, whether it be the minor leagues in baseball, whether it be the G League in basketball, or even like football or soccer, as you
right,
will know it as. We have a multi-tiered system here where there's
right,
players get the opportunity to develop, and sometimes players that don't come through the Premier League academies, they somehow go from the very bottom league to the top league and become stars.
right,
So it's interesting to see the NFL in effect have a true development league opportunities for players and chance for players to show their star quality
right.
and what they can bring to a franchise. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the XFL. The timing they've done, as you mentioned, is really, really important as well. The fact that the season is all done and dusted before training camp start in the
Yeah,
NFL,
perfect.
perfect. I think every player in the XFL cannot complain about
Right.
that. So you also mentioned as well Reggie Barlow, Coach Barlow, who I've had the honour of having on and speaking to him, and he's a very, very interesting, intense guy. How have you found him so far?
I love Coach Barlow, man. I love everything he stands for. Um, I I'm so thankful that God has placed him in my life because what football does, man, it brings you to people that are very, very similar in ways, more ways than you know. And we resemble Coach Barlow. Everybody that was chosen on this team in some way, shape, or form, white, black, or blue, resembles Coach Barlow. And, I think him being a guy that was, he wasn't highly thought of. He came from an HBCU. He made it to the NFL, still had to work, even when he was coaching. Just to hear his story about him coaching. A lot of us
Yeah,
players, we went through what he's going through and what he went through. So we can relate to him and he can relate to us. And I think that's big. But not only does he actually care for his players, he shows that he cares. And we can see that he cares. And I'm thankful for Coach Barlow. I run through a brick wall for him. I would. I
yeah,
would, because that's the type of guy that he is. He would do the same for you. So I'm thankful for him, man. And I'm excited to defend DC with him, as
yeah.
the head. So we got something cooking, man. We're ready, man. We're gonna be ready for sure. He got us ready for sure.
And you are the last game on of the opening weekend as well. So you
Yep.
are closing down week one against Seattle at home at
Yes,
Audi
sir.
Field. So fans, make sure you do check out and go to xfl.com/tickets. There isn't that many left, so make sure you get on there and get those last ones up.
Let's
And
go.
prices are still extremely reasonable. So get in there now, go out there and support KJ and the rest of the team. And thank you very much for coming on and speaking to me, KJ. It's been an absolute honour. As I said, I've been wanting to get you on for a while,
Yes, sir.
and it's been an absolute pleasure to get you on. And obviously, good luck for the season. Love to get you back on again.
Thank you.
After your first official interceptions, obviously, usually the way to go. So we'll get you on next week after you've picked off Ben DiNucci week one, yeah?
Oh yeah, for sure. Man, for sure. Looking forward to it, man.
Awesome. So, no, thank you very much for your time. And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening at home. Please do check us out and subscribe and follow and do all the usual stuff. But thank you very much for your time. I'll speak to you again very soon with another special guest.